Welcome back. As you can see, I am surrounded by lamps and lamp parts, and one of our viewers, reminded me recently that I had never done an episode strictly devoted to lamp finials. So, in honor of our roots as a spin-off of the Crazy Lamp Lady channel, today we are going to be talking about lamp finials. So, stick around, we'll be right back. Okay, lamp finials. Notice, it's in a box. It's not hoarding if you keep it in a pretty box. This is my box of lamp finials. All kinds of lamp finials. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because a lamp without a finial is like the queen without a hat. Come on. You look at that and you say, what's wrong with this picture? Funny thing is, the Queen's subjects don't get lamp finials. No finials in England, no finials in Scotland, no finials in Australia. Their lamps are configured differently. And I do not know how. I would actually love to see those of you in Great Britain, please take the shade off your lamp, snap a picture, send it to me. I really want to see how your lamps are strung together, because I'm having a very hard time imagining how you have gotten by all these years without lamp finials. Personally, I believe if we could manage to introduce lamp finials to the rest of the world, we could bring about world peace. We would all have the common ground of beautiful lamp finials, and we would see, oh yeah, we're really very much alike after all. So let me start with this. Now, I'm going to take this finial off this lamp and remove the shade. Now, you've seen this lamp before because I actually wired this lamp up for you. This lamp was a gift from Jocelyn. It's a beautiful rose canton vase. We know it's rose canton because all the panels are flowers, no people. And Jocelyn got this for $6.50. Now, Andrew was extremely, let me slide that over. Andrew was extremely unhappy that she told me how much she paid for it. I would love it if she paid $100 for it. I wouldn't hold that against her. But the fact that she paid $6.50 just made it that much more special. Eventually, we're going to bring him around and get him to understand that half the beauty of this piece is the sensational bargain. So, we put a base on this. We ran a rod right down the middle, put a little piece here to build it up, and then we put a little piece like this. This is a lamp harp saddle. That's this piece right here. And let me lift this. I'm not going to take the harp out here, but the harp slides right in, and these little caps keep it in place. And there's a screw on the top. So let me show you on a lamp finial. Here's the screw. This is the part that slides right into our little saddle. This one does not have the little caps that slide down over it. Some do, some don't. These come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Let me show you. Different shape, as you can see. Again, different size as well. And the lamp harp determines the height of the shade. A shorter harp is going to keep the shade lower. And this is a relatively short shade. So we've got a relatively short harp. Now, this is another piece you have seen before. This is what I sort of casually refer to as my Art Deco lamp. It's not. Those of you who watched the series on design trends, and we will continue with that at some point, but we're taking a break from that for the moment, will recognize the Chrysler building in this right away and say, oh no, Sue, that's not Art Deco. That's Art Moderne. Yes, indeed it is. This harp doesn't have a saddle. This is a one-piece harp, and the finial is right here on the top. And it's like three little sort of pyramid-shaped cones, one on top of the other. And this is a very old lamp. When these lamps were originally made, the harp, the finial were all part of the lamp. It was not interchangeable like these pieces. This was your lamp, and you didn't muck about with it. So this one, and by the way, you may recognize this from our Uno shade. Notice, Uno shade, washers. And we can just drop the shade on top and keep our finial. That is how you keep a finial when you have a lamp with an Uno shade. So, what happens if we don't? Well, here. Now, I'm sure you'll remember this. This was our odalisque lamp. We have a pair of those. We have the little naked dervish. I'm not going to tell you what he is really because YouTube was extremely unhappy the last time I said it. It's F-A-K-I-R. Sounds like something it shouldn't, but it is a legitimate word. Took a while to convince them of that. And in fact, as I understand, the translation programs really had fun with that. So, oops. Let's take this out. This lamp does not have a harp saddle. It never did. It was not designed for a standard shade. It was designed for a clip-on shade, but we are using a modern Uno shade. Now, a modern Uno shade has our little Uno fitting right down here, and it goes down on little rods, so it's lower. It's not at the top of the shade. Oh, I put the seam in front. Okay, and this is, in fact, the shade for this lamp. Not the original, of course. This is the shade I've chosen for this lamp. The lamp probably would have had a fiberglass shade originally. So, no finial. Now let me get our little bulb back in here and show you this. This is a clip-on shade. It has two metal loops, and those loops will snap over the bulb. It's held in place. Of course, this shade looks dreadful on this lamp. This is not the shade that is going with the lamp. Simply an example of how a clip-on shade works. This lamp would have originally had a clip-on shade. It would not have been white. It would not have had fringe. It would have been more suitable for the lamp. No finial. So that's how we deal with the no finial issue. I suspect that is how they deal with the no finial issue overseas. But again, I'd love to see what your lamps look like. We have more options. We have lamp harps. We have finials. Now, there are a lot of ways you can handle a lamp finial. This is a broken lamp finial. Let me just show you what this looks like, sort of not broken. Okay, here's a picture. This was the finial I had planned to use for this lamp. This is the one that we got, well, we stripped it down. It had copper-colored paint all over it. We stripped it down with oven cleaner, worked like a charm, beautiful hack. And this was going to be the finial for this lamp. The little curved heart-shaped arms here sort of mirrored the curves. Here we had a nice little urn shape, which would have mirrored the shape, again, flat like this lamp. This lamp is very flat. This was supposed to be the finial. So how did it break? This is made from a metal called antimony. Antimony, you've probably seen it or heard of it. People call it white metal. They call it pot metal. My favorite is monkey metal. It is a very brittle, very cheap metal. And it simply fell apart in my hands. And I know what this is. I knew it had to be handled with care, but still broke. Very, very brittle. When you see lamp finials on eBay, for example, and they will say, this is an iron lamp finial, not too likely. In all likelihood, it is a monkey metal lamp finial, and it is going to be extremely fragile. If you find one you like, by all means, get it. But just treat it like a tiny little bit of crystal that will shatter if you breathe on it funny. So learn from my mistakes. However, I had a backup plan for this lamp. And this is it. I have a pair of these. These are lovely little filigree pieces. As you can see, they're flat. They're not perfectly round. And that's going to go well with this lamp. The filigree work is going to pick up all of this gilt filigree here. And our round shape is going to go nicely with the overall round shape of the lamp. So, it's a backup plan, but it will work. Now, that is an example of both of those choices, by the way, are an example of choosing the finial to go with the lamp. This piece right here, the Rose Canton lamp, this is a little red translucent plastic foo dog. I like it because it picks up the colors on the lamp. Oh, I should probably get these out of here. Picks up the colors on the lamp. There's a lot of hard pinks and reds in this lamp. And of course, it's a foo dog, meaning it's Chinese, as is the lamp. That is one way to go. You match the finial to the lamp. Chinese lamp, Chinese finial. Red in the design, red in the finial. It's a good choice. But you don't have to do that. The great thing about finials is a good finial will turn an otherwise dull and unpromising lamp into something that's a little more. So I was at my doctor's office yesterday, and I snapped a picture of a floor lamp in his office. Doctor's office, nothing special. So let me show you that lamp quickly, and pardon the picture. It was with my cell phone, and I couldn't control the lighting because I don't think the doctor's office would have been really pleased with me if I had run around turning lights off. So, doctor's office lamp. As you can see, dull doctor's office lamp, little pleated shade, and a little nothing of a finial on top. By coincidence, I have a very similar lamp. I've had mine for about 40 years, and I'm imagining it was 20, 30 years old when I got it. It's the same kind of lamp, the same style. Doctor's office is new, mine is old. I keep it because it's extremely useful, and I've grown fond of it. But is it exciting? Not even close. So let's take a look at my lamp. And remember, this is virtually the same lamp. Here's mine. As you can see, my lamp has a mid-century fiberglass shade, a very fat decorative tassel hanging on the switch, and a really impressive finial. The finial on that lamp, and the final picture, by the way, I used a Photoshop type program to enhance the contrast so you could see it. That is a celluloid finial about 4 inches tall, which is carved flowers. It's just a column of carved flowers. Because that is a short floor lamp, it comes up to about 4.5, maybe 5 feet tall. That beautiful finial is right at eye level. The dull lamp blends into the background, and the finial is what pops it. So you don't have to match the finial to the lamp. Doctor's office lamp, finial matches the lamp. It's a dull as dirt lamp, dull as dirt finial. Mine, no. Dull as dirt lamp, very visually interesting vintage finial. So those are the two ways you can go. Match or enhance. I find finials are terrific for bringing dull, unexciting lamps to life. So let's take a look here in the finial box. I do a lot of Asian lamps, so I have a lot of Asian style finials. These are all plastic. This is a nice sort of quasi-Asian design. There's a little Greek key pattern. There's, I'm not even sure. You know, when I look at it closely, I say it looks to me more Egyptian than Asian. This is like our foo dog. This is a horse in swirls, which are, I don't know if that's water or clouds. It's something swirly, and it's horse. If you look at it up close, you'll see it. One of my favorites. This is the naughty bird. I've seen this described as little hummingbird. No, this is a bird who is in somebody's garden about to steal their bean. You can practically read his thought balloon. Oh, look, that bean is mine. I have a lamp finial in this little naughty bird pattern. And let me show you, because this little plastic nothing of a finial is on one of my favorite lamps. So here you go, my rose mandarin lamp. That lamp is about 270 years old, give or take. It's the first piece of porcelain I ever drilled into. Boy, being young and ignorant gives you a lot of courage. And I did, in fact, take a lamp that was well over 200 years old, take a drill and just pop right through it. Uh, Ordinarily, I would not recommend doing something like that. But in China, 270 years is meaningless. It's like yesterday. A 270-year-old piece of decorative arts from the United States would be an historical treasure. For them, it's just old stuff because, as I mentioned, and I mentioned this in one of our previous videos, their history with pottery goes back 20,000 years. You have to get a lot more than 270 years old for them to even consider that it's anything other than just yesterday's trash. However, that little finial, which is not especially Asian, although it does have the same general lines as a lot of the Asian finials, I chose that because the colors of that little naughty bird pick up the colors of the lamp. Again, like this one and the rose canton lamp. That's another choice. Colors. So, take a look. Ooh, sorry about that. This little bugger. I got this yesterday, so it's brand spanking new. We're going to turn this into a project lamp because it is not wired like any of the other lamps I've shown you in the past. The wiring is different. There's no base on this. This is felt. I'm going to have to scrape that off. And the cord comes through this little hole in the back. And that means this lamp is not designed to have, remember the way the rod comes down the center and affixes to the base? Not on this lamp. It's different. So we are going to take a look at that. And the mate to the finial for this lamp is going to be the finial for this one. This finial is in fact a much better choice for this lamp than this one. It's a second choice for that one. This would have been my first choice regardless on this lamp because we have this round medallion. We have all of the gilding. This is a really, really good choice for the lamp. So we'll get into that project later. I wanted you to see the finial. Oh, here's some more. This is a typical Asian blue and white pattern. A lot of Asian china has this blue and white pattern, so I keep several of these finials on hand. Usually when I buy my finials, I get them in large mixed lots. I often pick them up on eBay. I'll find a finial I like, grab the mixed lot. There will be a lot of, reasonably unexciting brass finials. A lot of those finials go over to Jocelyn for resale lamps because I tend to get a lot of them in pairs. And the Asian ones go into my little hoard box. And some of them actually just pop out and go onto my lamps because I don't mind changing my finials. It's something that's very easy to do, gives the lamp a different look, and I like doing it. So before we move on, let's take a close-up look at these so you can see them. The first picture is the finial just snapped with the camera. The second picture, so there's going to be two shots for each of these. The second one is the enhanced, photographically enhanced finial so that you can see some of the decorative elements in it. So let's take a look at those. Now, when you are choosing a lamp finial, sometimes you can mix and match. Sometimes you can't. A lamp like this, you will not put a modern, stark, mid-century style finial. They're usually cylinders. No. You wouldn't do that any more than you would put something like this on a mid-century lamp. However, you could very easily find something in here. Little dull finial. You could very easily put something like this on a lamp like this. It won't enhance it, but it won't detract from it either. You could put something like this on a mid-century lamp. Again, won't enhance it, won't detract from it. If you're looking at mid-century lamps, you want nice, sleek, Danish modern, just cylinders, that sort of thing. Older lamps, you can get a little more creative. You can use fancier finials. For the most part, what you are looking for when you choose a finial is something that is either going to reflect the design of your piece or give it a little extra pizzazz. Dull piece, fancy finial, suddenly your lamp is not looking like it just came out of a doctor's office anymore. That's what to keep in mind. Now, we have a couple of little things I want to do before we close off our little lamp finial video. Pens, got a lot of requests for pens over the last week. I am getting to them as I can. We got at least 2 dozen. In general, I try to get out anywhere from 5 to 10 a week. We'll see. But I've got your information, and I'm working on the list. Lisa is making new pens even as we speak. Now, today we are announcing the winner of the koi platter. Speaking of Lisa, one of the people who entered the koi platter contest was in fact Lisa. And I took advantage of the little caveat in my rules that say that the winner will be chosen at my sole discretion based on my affinity for their comment. Congratulations, Lisa. We have a chance to give you something back. The koi platter is going to Lisa. And I'm sure all of you agree with me. No one deserves it more. We're just lucky, very lucky, to have a chance to repay Lisa for all the work she's doing. The koi platter was courtesy of Kelly Williams. And Kelly has this lifestyle of pay it forward. So I am sure Kelly is going to be as delighted as I am to see this go to Lisa after all of her hard work for people with disabilities. So thank you, Lisa. I'm glad we have a tangible way to show you our appreciation. The winner of the Tidbit tray is not Lisa. Now, the winner of the Tidbit tray is in fact random, and that will be announced tomorrow. And tomorrow, we are going to get into a different kind of lamp wiring, and that will be this beautiful piece. So, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.